All right, welcome back to another episode of Beer, Bacon, and Bros. Tonight, just Adam, Chris, and Keith. We're going to break down and react to the NFL trade deadline. There was like 7 or 8 trades go on today. Obviously, if you haven't seen our video with the predictions.
Couple shockers today.
We did okay. We did okay on some of the picks.
Oh, we hit the Quinn one right off the bat.
Yeah, we had the Robert Quinn one off the bat. I mean, a lot of the people we said got traded just didn't really go to the places we said they were going to get traded. So,
but they got traded eventually.
They got traded. So, before we jump into it, make sure you hit the subscribe button for us. We're obviously growing the channel, having a great time right now. We got 20 new subscribers last week, so we're excited about it.
Oh, yeah.
You are always welcome to hit us in the comments. We will literally answer and or like or love whatever you say.
Do they have a dislike button anymore?
They do have a dislike button. I don't know that I've hit it in a little while. So, but we will always get back to you. And as always, make sure you like that video for us because it does help us populate the videos and make them more popular for us. So. Let's jump into it. I think the easiest way to do this, like we don't need to react to every trade, but I think probably saying who we thought maybe got either the best value of the trade, what team maybe really can, celebrate their trade as they may put themselves into a position for making the playoffs and or winning the Super Bowl for it, or just generally what is your favorite trade today or best?
Well, I guess, as we were mentioning before the intro to the video, Robert Quinn, going to Philly was a big move for Philly to bolster that front seven. I think that was a great move for them, and they didn't have to give up too much for him.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean it wasn't like they were like I know last week we talked about Brian Burns potentially being traded from Carolina, but with him being 24 and still so young, I feel like you would have to give up too much for him at this point in his career. So the trade for Robert Quinn for just a 4th round pick, I mean, made a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a solid play. Just like Baltimore getting the other one, getting Roquan Smith,
the old Georgia linebacker.
Yeah,
boy was good in college.
Well, and in the NFL.
Yeah, well, and Chicago gets AJ Klein, who is not a bad linebacker. I mean, he's not Roquan Smith, but
no,
he's not a bad linebacker. So I mean,
I just remember, I guess, going into the year, people were dogging Roquan Smith a little bit.
Yeah,
just saying he hadn't produced, I guess, like they thought he would, or hadn't performed to what they,
Well,
but the other.
Well, I mean, to answer that, I was just going to say that I've heard many people say that there are guys in the NFL that obviously don't put forward effort on teams that aren't going to win.
Yeah.
And so, you can't blame the guy for not really
wanting to try,
get hurt or anything like that for a team that he feels like isn't going to win right now. So maybe he gets to Baltimore, a real chance to win that division, a real chance to make the playoffs, and people think that Baltimore has a chance at the Super Bowl, and see if he produces,
a little bit,
see if he gets back into producing elite numbers. I think the big one for me today, or really over this past week of trades, was the Bradley Chubb move to Miami. They gave up a lot for him. No question about it. I mean, they gave up a 1st round and a 4th round,
and a running back.
Well, no, they gave up Bradley Chubb in the 5th round, and Miami ended up giving up a running back 1st round and 4th round. But
right, that's what I'm saying.
I think that Bradley Chubb, I'm not going to say he's the missing piece for Miami, but he's an extremely talented pass rusher, which Miami desperately needed. And I think Miami's defense has already played well. Obviously, their offense is great when Tua's healthy. So maybe this is the piece that can secure Miami as the the 2nd team in that division. They're probably not going to beat Buffalo. Let's be real about it.
Yeah.
They beat them one time, but I don't know if they can beat them again. And so maybe that makes Miami be the want to say 3rd best team in the AFC behind the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But I mean, it puts them up there.
Gives them the first wild card position at least, right?
Yeah.
You still have that big what if in Tua.
I mean, listen, when Tua's been able to actually finish games and be healthy on the field, he's looked great.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. You still have that major what if because he's had so many health problems as far as being consistently being on the field. So I mean, I don't think that propels them into a position where they're going to be better than Buffalo. It definitely helps them.
Yeah.
Like Adam's saying, moves them potentially into that first wild card.
I think without a doubt they probably.
Yeah. So I mean, they're definitely going. I mean, they're definitely going to stay ahead of the.
As of right now, well, the division that has let us down, I think, the most this year has definitely been the AFC West. What we thought was going to be a really strong division. So yeah, at this point though, I think Miami's competing. I would say with the Chargers for that first wild card spot. because I don't see anybody coming out of the AFC South as
One has to win the division.
well. Yeah, that's what. But one of them has to win the division. But then that second place team isn't better than Miami or the Chargers.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Kansas City at 5-2, Tennessee's 5-2, Baltimore's 5-3, and of course Buffalo's 6-1. So, I mean,
and then if it's Cincinnati winning the AFC North, and then you got to battle with Baltimore.
I'll be honest with you. I think Baltimore wins that AFC North. Now.
I think Baltimore does too.
I think adding Roquan Smith is a piece of that puzzle for them.
Mhm.
I mean, it gives them even more depth at linebacker and on a team that
Hmm.
consistently can't stay healthy.
I know we all said that Cincinnati was going to win that division, but Cincinnati hasn't proven that this year, and
No.
they just lost Jamar Chase, the
For a
best
couple
left tackle in
weeks.
the game for 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they just lost him. Tyler Boyd's not, obviously, I don't think he's the answer to replace Jamar Chase.
And a combo with T. Higgins.
In a combo with T. Higgins. And they didn't do anything on the defensive side of the ball that they needed to do to do anything better. So, I definitely think Baltimore takes the edge and wins that division. One of the other trades which you just pulled up, which I thought was one of the kind of like a shocker trade today was.
I was going to call it a sneaky pick.
Yeah, well, I mean, it definitely is a sneaky pick, but it's kind of a shocker too to trade to an interdivisional rival.
Yeah.
So with
TJ.
with TJ Hawkinson being traded from Detroit to Minnesota for a couple conditional picks.
A second and a third.
Well, they basically just traded picks on it. So you got a fourth and a 2 fourths with TJ going to Minnesota. Detroit's getting a second and a third across 2 years, 23 and 24. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Sneaky probably be the better word, but it's kind of like one of those shocker trades because I wouldn't think with some of the success that Detroit's had this year.
they're 1-6.
I thought they were doing a lot better than that. Well,
No.
offensive numbers they're looking better than that.
Oh, offensive numbers look great.
Yeah. So
They've given up 225 points.
yeah, but I mean, I guess I would use that for defense then.
Claypool to Chicago. I don't know. I just don't think.
Chicago needed a lot. I think Chicago should have kept their pick. To be honest,
That's what I'm saying.
with
I
you.
don't think a second round pick was worth Claypool.
Well, I think Claypool is very young.
He has a lot of upside.
He has a lot of upside. He said he's a top 3 receiver in the league. I don't believe that, but
In his own eyes.
In his own eyes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he hadn't proved.
I guess the thing for this, I knew Chase Claypool was going to get traded. I thought Chase Claypool would go somewhere like Tennessee, right? Like they're a team
Green
that's
Bay.
winning their division.
Somebody-
Green Bay.
somebody who needs a receiver.
The Jets, right? Like somebody that needs a receiver that's winning and is, possibly thinking about making the play. Chicago makes no sense to me, and I feel bad for you Chicago fans. I'm not trying to dish you, but you got to look at this and say, okay, we just traded away our 2 best defensive players to then send a second-round draft pick to get us a wide receiver weapon to make our offense better. So are we
With a shitty quarterback.
Are we trying to win or are we trying to lose? I mean, what are we trying to do here?
It's like the Panthers. The Panthers can't even lose right.
Yeah.
the Panthers can't take
I
right.
mean,
So,
are we tanking to go get better, or are we?
Well, I blame the Buccaneers for not winning that game.
Yeah, you ought to blame the Buccaneers for that. I think it's a great move for Chicago. It's a great available wide receiver to go make your offense better. But are you trying to win because you just traded away your 2 best defensive players?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Chicago should have kept their second round pick in this situation. We
Yeah.
all knew Claypool was going to get traded, but we thought it was going to be to a division leader,
Or somebody contending for a division.
right, or someone who's in contention. Chicago's not going to win that division.
Yeah.
Chicago's not going to win that division for at least the next 5 years.
Yeah.
So,
I
especially
think-
I just gave up a second round pick.
I'll be honest. I think it's a great move for Pittsburgh. Though.
I would
it's
say,
a
I
great-
think,
it's a great
I
move
think
for
Pittsburgh
Pittsburgh.
won that trade.
Well, there's no question for Pittsburgh to won that trade, but I think for Pittsburgh, obviously you're having a rough year. You're probably not going to win the division. You're probably not going to make the playoffs. And Pittsburgh does
They do a
I'm
fantastic job.
I'm not a Pittsburgh fan, but I admire the way Pittsburgh's front office for the last basically 7 to 8 years has constantly had that team with 2 good wide receivers, and they are just rotating bodies in and out of that thing. I mean,
and they always come from like the second to 6th round.
Yeah, seriously. Plexico Burris to Santonio Holmes to
AB
to Juju to
Martavis Bryant from
Martavis
Clemson.
Bryant. I mean, Lama Swede. Like they are just rotating wide receivers out, and they're always finding another guy that's good.
A diamond in the rough.
And it's second round picks. I mean, Juju, second round pick. Deontay Johnson, second round pick. Chase Claypool, second round pick. George Pickens, second round pick. So, Here they are. I mean, they're just moving Chase Claypool. They're leaving themselves with George Pickens and Deontay Johnson. Who knows? Maybe they take this second-round pick from the Bears and they draft a wide receiver with it.
I think they're going to go offensive line.
They need to go offensive line. Doesn't mean they're going to do it, right? Ask Packers fans.
Yeah,
they need to go offense, but they're going to draft a corner. All right, so let's wrap up this last one that I think we want to talk about. The Bills and Colts making the running back swap. Obviously, Indy gets a conditional pick as well with Zach Moss of a 5th-rounder. But you and I talked a lot about them getting Kareem Hunt. We really felt like Kareem Hunt. Cleveland Browns fans were actually screaming to trade Kareem Hunt because they wanted to get something back for him.
From what I was reading and listening to on sports shows and everything, was that trade was conditional on what they did on Monday, and they won Monday. So if they had lost, a lot of people were thinking that Kareem Hunt was going to be out the door.
Well,
since they won,
wow, you're not making the playoffs.
I'm just saying that was part of. That's what the talk was at the top, was they weren't going to trade Kareem Hunt if they won that game, and they obviously destroyed Cincinnati on Monday night.
The Indians fans are going to find me again on this. You're not going to make the playoffs. You're not going to win the Super Bowl. Get the Guardians. Yeah. Well, sorry, Guardians. I forget we can't call them Indians anymore.
No, but just like we can't call them Redskins either.
Well, yeah. I'm going to forget to call them the Commanders at this point. Call them the football team.
Washington football team.
But I don't know. I mean, I look at this and I say, look, Nyheim Hines is a good back. He's a pass catcher. He's fast. He can do some punt returning for you. If you're Buffalo, I mean, do you really feel like that was the guy that you wanted at running back? I mean, you could have got a Cam Akers. You could have got a Kareem Hunt. I mean,
I think it settles a little bit of that offense because it allows that pass catching ability.
I think that's a good backup to Singletary.
Yeah, Singletary's actually had a decent year. He's played himself into some good games. He's been able to drive the ball. He's not been stopped, behind the line of scrimmage that often. So he's able to drive the ball and move forward. And I think you throw a Nyheim Hines out there, either run him out on a flat or run him out on a wheel. I mean,
with his speed, I think it gives him another dynamic.
What he reminds me of is what James White was in New England.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, just that check down guy that Brady. In this case, Jared Allen's going to look at and just throw it to him all the time. Josh Allen, Jared Allen, whoever. Jared Allen was the defensive end.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I mean, he could at this point. Buffalo's so good, he could go play quarterback and they
probably
win games.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I thought it was an interesting trade. I think if I'm a Bills fan, I still think I'd rather have Kareem.
It's not the home run hit, no.
Yeah.
It's a safe base hit. It's a safe hit.
Well, yeah, I mean, it really makes your offense.
It's a single to a double, somewhere in that area. It's not that home run.
This moved the guy around the bases. This was, you had a guy on second, you hit a single in the shallow right, moves the guy to third. Or
it definitely helps them. It doesn't hinder them. I don't think it makes them go back a step.
No.
I would rather have Nyheim Hines over Zach Moss anyway, because Moss has a tendency to just fumble the ball.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in Nyheim Hines...
Well, Zach Moss and Devin Singletary are the same player. Like, whether you like it or not, they're the same player.
Essentially.
Same thing for James Cook. I think James Cook catches passes a little bit better than both of them. But, I mean, now you brought in a legit pass-catching back. Not a guy that's going to help you on, 3rd and 1 or 1st and goal, but somebody that
you spread him out. Let him go out and spread that field. I mean, I think... I mean, it's not a great pick, but it's not a bad pick.
Probably.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
You're going to see...
Well, especially with him and Isaiah McKenzie. Yeah, I mean, they got a lot of speed on there.
Some jet sweeps type stuff.
Are you surprised at all that there was no quarterbacks go?
No.
I don't think so. I don't think there was any need for any quarterback to really move on. I mean, Carolina could use a quarterback.
But I think all the big quarterback trades happened in the offseason, over the summer. I think all that kind of got settled, and now you're here halfway through the season, and we're like, yeah, either we good call on what we got, or man, we really are not seeing what we thought we saw.
I think if Seattle had been like tanking, they might have looked look at a quarterback, but. Hell, Geno Smith looks like Orange Bowl Geno Smith. He's out there
he's looking good.
He's throwing dimes out there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think Geno's the one I was really thinking more of.
I mean, Carolina would have been the one that I would have thought to go after a quarterback, but I think they're either going to sign Baker or they're going to look for a quarterback in the draft, because I think they're going to have a top 5 pick. So I mean, I think they're going to look at one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the draft, depending on where they land.
Yeah.
So I don't really know of anybody else who really needed a quarterback outside.
Well, I mean, who was willing to give up a quarterback? That's the other thing is I don't really see a team.
Yeah, they're so valuable nowadays. I don't know who would have.
Or like I said, there's not anybody with all these big trades that happen in the offseason. There isn't anybody really, I think, willing to give away a quarterback.
Yeah.
You couldn't be like, hey, Denver, I'll take Russell off.
Well, you know,
the other
one.
think-
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I think Geno would have made a lot of sense for Seattle to sell him high right now.
While he's doing what he's doing.
You know, with Tannehill going through some things, and it looks like Malik Willis obviously had a decent.
He got the start.
He got a win, only throwing 55 passing yards, but he got a win.
And
I think New England. I mean, I'm pretty sold that New England is ready to move on from Mac Jones.
They like Zappy a
these
lot.
2 years, so. I think Mac Jones could have been on the block, over the last week or so. But
I think the other one that could have been on the block, if Lance hadn't gone down, would have been Jimmy G. I still think they would have tried to have sell him somewhere. But
yeah,
I mean, all he's done is come in and help them win games, like he always does. He's just he's a controller.
yeah.
So,
I think the teams that would have been buying for me, the Colts, obviously they're done with the Matt Ryan experience. They're turning it to Sam Ellinger, but I don't know that like if they could have gotten Geno, I think that would have made
could have
sense
been a
at the
good
right
price
price for them.
Yeah.
I think New Orleans too. I mean, you don't know how long Jameis Winston's ultimately going to be down. Andy Dalton has played okay, but he's not played great. And could you have gone and gotten a Geno? Maybe that was a possibility. So I think
Could have
there's
gone traded for Dak, since Cooper Rush is.
man. Cooper, honestly, no, you're laughing. Cooper Rush. I mean, if I'm Dallas, I'm selling Cooper Rush high as hell right now.
He is.
To get draft picks for him?
Yeah.
He's what, 7-1 as a starter?
Yeah,
6-1.
And he won
8 years old.
He won what, the 4 games he played this year? 3 games, 3 or 4?
4.
I think he won 4, and then before that he was like 2-0.
Yeah.
I think he's got like 1 loss on his record, but still, yeah.
Yeah, he lost to Philly, but
So I mean, so he's 4-1 this year. I think he played 5 games. That sounds right.
yeah.
Okay.
4-1 this year, and then he was like 3-0 last year or something like that. So yeah, overall you're looking at a quarterback who's got an 8-1 record. Granted, I think he threw 17 picks in the Philly game. Not exactly sure.
He's still throwing.
He's still throwing them, but yeah, I mean, for Gardner Minshew too. Like people forget that Gardner Minshew is at the back of the Phillies rotation right now, or the Eagles rotation. So
which is wild. I mean, I saw that stat.
The stat you said earlier. Yeah.
I mean, the fact that Jacksonville let him walk. That would have been a great 1-2 combo with Gardner and
Trevor Lawrence wouldn't be playing right now. Gardner would be starting over him.
But that would be a good 1-2 combo.
Yeah.
If you had to pick, and they're both well, of course, Trevor's young, but Gardner Minshew's still pretty young.
He's still young.
Yeah.
He's not that much older. So.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to put a bow on it. If you want to, hit us in the comments. Let us know your reactions to this NFL trade deadline here on November 1st. And as always, we appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe.